I'm going to fit one of these water pumps to one of my boats today. I'll probably do it on the large Princess as well. Not to cool the motor or the speed controller, because it gets plenty of flow as it's moving. I'm going to do it as a bilge pump. I do this on most of my jet boats, because jets always seem to leak like a sieve. Like as they're pumping, they seem to never hold water. I generally don't like the idea of these just to cool the motor or the speed controller, just for the simple reason that if the boat breaks down and it's sitting out in the water for 10 minutes before you can rescue it, it's just constantly draining the LiPo. Now they don't draw much, but if the boat was right at the end of its charge and you do one more pass when you shouldn't, and that's when they always seem to break down, and then you have a drain on the battery for another 10 minutes, it just doesn't seem safe for the LiPo. But on these, this has got a 300 amp speed controller in it, which means it needs a separate battery supply to run the servo and power up the speed controller. On this one I run a 2000 milliamp 2S LiPo in there through this voltage reducer. I can run anything up to a 6S through this voltage reducer and then into the receiver. So that thing there, like I could use the boat 10 times without a problem. So I'm never going to have that problem with it getting too flat from this. So all I need to do is just find a way to mount this. I can see a couple options straight away. Perhaps it could be off one of these bolts on the inside here, if I was to enlarge that, or maybe off here. Could just screw that into there, and then it's just one line into the water there, and then an extra pickup or an extra outlet out the boat. Now putting it down here is a no-brainer, but I've got my receiver up here. I prefer not to run an extension from here, in there, because it's just another join that could let go. While we're on that, the way you wire these up is we don't even wire them up. You just put it. This is my auxiliary power, or for the servo. This is going to go on the aux side. So, we've got all black wires on the right hand side here. That's where this is going to go. Give it some more power from the battery, and then on from the switch. Don't judge my mess here. So here's what it is, and there you go, she's working, if you can hear that. Alright, so what I think I'll do, so I don't have to extend that, and I want to keep this up here out the water. It doesn't leak a lot, this boat, but you can't get the water out. That's the problem. It has this overhang here, and there's no way just to tip it up and because there's a big gap here, big thing here, you can't just tip it out, and the damn thing's heavy. So I think what I'll do is I'll get it mounted on the back here like this. That looks like an M4 bolt, so I'll just drill this out to 4mm. Have him up there like that. Okay, simple enough. Obviously you wouldn't do it like this, you would do it safe. It's just doing on the slow speed. Obviously these just pump out at one speed, but people think, like, say you've got it flowing, I don't know, say it was for a number 10 litres a minute while you're driving the boat flat out. That's how much it would go through without this. People think if you're going to connect this up in line and let's say this can only pump 5 litres a minute, they figure that's what it's going to get reduced to, the flow, but it's still going to be the same or almost the same as without this, because when you see inside the thing, this is why. It just got plungers there. The water doesn't actually go through any kind of impeller or anything like that. It which one's the out on this one? This one. So it goes in there, it comes around and then out there. So the water flowing under pressure is just coming in here and out there. So if you've got more pressure than this can pump, that doesn't slow the water down. It might a little bit because it's, you know, it's going around a corner rather than just going straight. If it's going in fast, it can still come out just about as fast. But yeah, if the boat's stationary, or if it's only ever going slow for some reason, like a scale type boat, you know, this is ideal. But I've genuinely never had a boat that needed that. You know, everything I use is reasonably fast and moving most of the time. Alright, so this, I drilled that one out there. He's going to sit there. Like that. Now you can see these are the small hose. So of course, if you were running a boat with large diameter hose, this is going to, you know, slow things down. So you see people putting them on pro boats and stuff like that. Pro boats all run large diameter hose. Traxxas boats all run fine on a Traxxas boat if you want to have it in line, but you wouldn't do it on a pro boat. That's nice and tight. That's the perfect size hose. I might just try the large hose on there. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it does go on. It's not great, but you could use one of these to hold it on. What I might do is use a large one for the pickup, and I'm just going to use a small one for the outlet. It will look cooler anyway. It'll be squirting out further with the small hose. So I'll go large. Here we go. Some hose here. So what do we got here? In. I'll put this on it. It doesn't really need this because it's the inside. There's no pressure on it, but I've got it sitting there. I might as well use it. In. Tuck that on so it can never come off. I just want it down there in the back of the boat. What I might do is go that way and then come back and cable tie it to here. Obviously I've got endless choices where I can put my outlet. I don't really want to put another one in the side. I could do, but let's flip it on. I could put it there. It's going to be a different size to these. Obviously if I wanted to hide it, I could put it right under here. It'd be so easy to hide, but then you're not going to see if any water's coming out. I'm just going to put it here. At least I'll be able to see when it's working and when it's not, won't I? I guess if I was doing this for someone else's boat, I wouldn't put it here. I'd get the same size outlet and put it on the side, or maybe put it there, have a third one there. But it's my boat. I'm not going to sell it. This is what I want. Let's go there. If you don't use your tape, you can chip the gel coat. This is an M6 thread here, so that means 6mm drill. All right. Bit of Loctite. always check your size of the spanner you're going to need to, you know, put the nut on. When it's up under there, it's hard to tell, but it's always going to be 8mm for a 6mm or an M6 thread. Alright. Alright, so let's get that out of the way. So now I've got the input there on the bottom of the boat. Just going to put a cable tie around it just so it stays there. It's not giving me my wish of having this up here. That the cord is just, the wire is just too short. If I angle it down more, get a little bit, it doesn't quite get there. So what I'm going to do is just put some Velcro on the back here and face it out that way. I mean, this is a waterproof receiver anyway. It's the sand wire type that I always use in all my boats. They can get wet, but you know, when you've got voltage going across any two wires like your power and the earth, it still causes problems. So if it was like submerged underwater and it was still powered up, it will still eventually fail. But yeah, there's not going to be much water in there now. It'll be a little bit of splash, and I've got that just. I've just got that cable tied onto my shaft here, and the bottom of it's just there. You could do that bit a lot better, of course, like get a little bit of tubing, smaller diameter than that, and just have a metal tube going in there if you want. Oh, look at that. And there you go. This is how much water I got in there from yesterday. Sweet. I just did the same thing on the Princess. I did it a different way just to change it up a bit. I actually fiberglassed the pump into the bottom there, and also the hose so it can't move. Just using the fiberglass tape that you use to mount a motor or whatever you might want to mount into a boat, and just 2-part epoxy glue on top of that. And that's not going anywhere. On this one I just ran a large hose out to a large outlet to match it up with the other two, and rather than doing anything unique. Sim will probably be, you know, sell this boat. I just did the same job on the big Princess. On this one, instead of having an outlet on the, you know, on the deck here, I just put it in line with the other two. It's a boat that, you know, I'll probably sell, so, or eventually I will sell it. So I'll just keep it as most people would want it. So in this one, instead of screwing it down to you know, the battery tray or whatever, I mounted it. I used epoxy and fiberglass, and fiberglass the motor in, the pump in, just like I would on a motor mount on a boat or whatever. So it's more than strong enough. I also fiberglass the tube into position down underneath there, so it can't move out. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a bird's nest in there, all the wires and stuff to, you know, for the voltage reducer and stuff, but it is what it is. This one's got the 300 amp ZTW in there. It had the 300 amp, the one that came with it wasn't working. I haven't used that boat for a couple of years, so I can't remember what happened. I obviously blew it up. This I was running a big 56mm TP motor in there. This is 56mm, but it's only like 60mm long. I was running like a 115mm motor in there, and I can't remember, but obviously I took the speed controller out while I was playing around with that. Apart from that, those speed controllers are still pretty good. That's what I'm running in that Shark still. No water in this one to pump out.